Welcome. We got a very interesting show here. Now, before I get started, I want to say this. I am making another Gump report by maybe Friday or Saturday. I'm going to talk about what happened here, what happened after the scrum, because I didn't do it on the previous video because I didn't know yet. When I filmed it was just before Raw, and I didn't check to see what had happened that day afterward. I didn't know. So I will be talking about that, and if there's any new information, I'll add to it. I just wanted to say that before I got started. Now, opening, we get this lovely man in our face, and that is Tony Khan. He's in the back, and he pretty much says, ladies and gentlemen, at this moment in time, the AEW and Trios titles are vacant, and we will be having a Grand Championship tournament that goes into Grand Slam to crown a new AEW champion. This show, we will be crowning the Trios champion. And I'm committed to making sure that AEW puts out the best pro wrestling in the world. Pretty much that's what he said. But if you want this translated in talk that someone like myself can understand, he got pissed at Kenny and the Bucks and Punk, and he pretty much said, fuck y'all, go home, I'm stripping all four of you. I'm stripping you of the main title, I'm stripping you of the Trios title, go home. That's what he did. I don't know if they're suspended for how long. I don't know, I don't think they're fired, but they're probably suspended flat out. The EBs, the vice presidents got to be stripped. They got to be stripped. And Punk had to be stripped. I agree. I am so anxious to go through this show, but I'm trying to stay calm so I don't box so bad. Look, we knew this had to happen, and it happened. And I will elaborate more on my Gump report. Now, the opening was MJF, and we were in Buffalo, not too far away from my stomping grounds in New York. Actually, I've never been to Buffalo. One of these days, hopefully I can go. Never been there. But he was loved. He was kissing. That bastard was kissing as much ass as he could. He was kissing some ass. He was trying his best to kiss ass, to say that he loved Buffalo, he loved the people there, and that he is the best person to go after that championship. But he's not going to try and get into the tournament because he doesn't need it, because he's got the damn chip and he can get it anytime he wants. And then we get Moxley coming out. And Moxley said, you're a piece of shit and you're lying. And he pretty much breaks down into the old MJF that we love to hate. He started chewing out Buffalo mother. This is what we knew MJF has to be. We don't want a good guy MJF. We don't. We don't want nothing of a good guy MJF. He's a prick. Look, in real life, the guy probably he's got friends, but I bet you 100% they're going to say, look, we love MJF. He's our friend. He's our family. But we know he can be a damn prick when he wants to be. Because he is. And it works so well with his character. But he tells Moxley, you got one option. Get the hell out of my ring now. And he leaves. Not before he tries to get pissed off, takes off his shirt, and his hand gets stuck in the shirt. And I think he ripped it trying to take it off. And pretty much he walks away after that. But Moxley makes it very clear. He doesn't say it outright that Punk pissed him off and the Bucks pissed him off and Kenny pissed him off. But he says, I am pissed. I am angry. I didn't keep my title. I'm angry at the situation. And not saying angry at the situation, but he's angry. And he wants people to understand that I love this damn business. This business is my passion. It's my love. It's my heart. It's my all. I am going to put everything into it. I am the fire-breathing dragon. This company is on my shoulders and all the shoulders of the people in the back. We're going to make sure this thing is done correctly and, well, not correctly, but pretty much we are pro wrestling. We started this from nothing to show that real pro wrestling can make it. He was clearly saying what had happened days ago, even though he could not just outright say, ladies and gentlemen, CM Punk, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are pieces of shit and started trouble, and I'm angry for what they did. He did not go there. He couldn't go there. He's trying to be politically correct. He's trying to... You guys got to understand. Moxley isn't someone that likes to hide what he says because it is obvious what he did. But there are people in the back he can't piss off. He's got to have some type of, keep it real. And he doesn't want to start no controversy that's going to make things worse. But pretty much the promo was him really clearly stating that the Bucks fucked up, Kenny fucked up, and Punk fucked up. They should have never gone there. It doesn't matter. And I say this again. I said this in my first Gump report. It doesn't freaking matter that the Bucks wanted Colt Cabana to get more TV time. It does not matter that reporter brought him up. It don't mean shit. Somebody got pissed off on the scrum, didn't want to shut his damn mouth. He could have just said, no comment, I don't want to talk about it. He got mad. He went into the back after it was over. He's the one that took the first swing, and I know I'm going a little bit more than what I'm going to talk about in the Gump Report, but you get my point. That is what Moxley is trying not to just say outright, I'm pissed at these assholes for messing up. That's his promo of it. Did fine. Now, let's go to the trio's title of Best Friends versus Death Triangle. Look, I'm going to be honest here. I know that many people thought the Death Triangle would eventually go after those titles and get them eventually. But it's always been a question, would the Bucks get them first? And they did. But in this situation, going up against Best Friends, you know what I thought? I thought Best Friends was going to win it. I truly did think Best Friends was going to win it. I didn't want them to win because I think the trios should go to Death Triangle. That's how I felt about it. And the match was good. The little banter between a little bit of Orange Cassidy and Pac, my boy Pac, was fine. In the end, Death Triangle won, which I was kind of surprised. But I shouldn't be surprised because everyone knew eventually the Lucha Brothers as well as Pac were going to get those damn titles eventually. But due to the fact of the changes, they got them now. There you go. Now, I want to say this briefly about Claudio Castagnoli versus Cash Wheeler on Rampage for the world title. Interesting. That's what I was thinking. But I'm going to move on from there. Now, we get a possibly 6-minute match between Penelope Forbes and Toni Storm. Non-title. And you know what Excalibur said? If she won this, she would get her shot. What? I'm glad she didn't win. But really? They went there. And this is what makes me even more angry. It's bad enough that was near a 6-minute. I believe it was almost 6, maybe 7 minutes. Maybe. But you have a returning Penelope Forbes, who last year and the year before that was the one who was basically carrying on the back of AEW. And I understand why Tony did it. But I'm about to mention some women. Kira Hogan. Lacey Gray, I believe that's her name. I can't remember her name. Laura Gray. Sky Blue. Selena Deeps, who's going to be on Rampage tomorrow. Rebel. Athena. Madison Rain. That's 8 women. 8 women. 8. That they could be spotlighting more than a Penelope Forbes. That be spotlighting more than a Britt Baker, a Jamie Hager, and anyone else they've been putting there, including Hiro Kushida. And I'm not against Hiro Kushida. I'm not against Jamie Hager because of what happened at the pay-per-view. They wanted her, and I can understand why. But you have so many more women that you should be doing something with on the main card, and you do nothing. We keep talking about the women are going to get treated good in AEW. Just Alex said wait. JD said wait. What did I tell you? I didn't say anything about waiting. I said most of the time, this is not good booking. And both of them kept saying, you guys don't have any patience. What are they saying now? Again, I'm one of the few people who believe that the booking was bad from nearly day one for the Sojin women and the regular women. what did they call so I can't even remember what they're called now, but Joshis, I believe they're called the Joshis. They deserve better to be booked like American women. So do the others. Japanese wrestling is fine if you give them real booking. I'm just saying. Let's move on. We get the TNT title match of... We didn't even get a match. We got a destruction of Tony Nese versus a Wardlow. He annihilates him. He even tries to annihilate a little bit of Smart Mark Sterling, but a new client, I don't recognize him, I can't remember his name, saved him. But Wardlow, being Wardlow, was not happy. He's been hearing what people have been saying, that Wardlow has been practically doing nothing since he won the damn title and Scorpio Sky hasn't been there. And he made it very clear, I've been hearing on the internet, interwebs as they used to call it, the interwebs, that people think I'm cold now, that I've not been doing anything. Understand, this is freaking Wardlow's world. This is my world, and I'm the one who makes the rules in it. Pretty much that's what he's saying. He's trying to clearly say, fuck you. I am relevant. Whoever is my naysayers. Well, here's the thing. If we're to really evaluate how Wardlow has been booked, since the feud with Scorpio Sky has been over, what has he actually done? Now, I haven't looked at Dark or Elevation, but if he's been on Elevation and Dark most of the time, and not Rampage or Dynamite, what does that tell you? It isn't just because they don't have the room, it's that they're not really giving him anything to work with. I think Wardlow's a good character, and I think he's a good wrestler. Good enough to really be interesting, to be cared for. I think they should stop playing his music and let the crowd be his music and let them just scream Wardlow like pretty much a Goldberg. It would work. But that's just me. Now, let's go to Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page as a wild card for the Grand Slam tournament. Whoever wins this goes up against Chris Jericho. Here we go. Was it a good match? Yes. But here's where it gets interesting for me personally. I don't know about you guys. You probably didn't notice this. But in the very openings of that match, before they got started, try to think about how Hangman Page looked. Now, I'm not saying that CM Punk and Bryan Danielson are friends. No. I'm not saying that. Because I don't know. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But let me ask you this. Didn't Hangman Page look not in a good mood? Didn't Bryan Danielson himself, even though he was working like he normally did, didn't you notice that when they faced each other, it wasn't about just acting animosity. Both of them looked pissed off. Not just because that's their character, but in actuality, I don't think things have settled down in the back. Guys, the way Hangman Page looked at one point during that match, he looked legitimately annoyed and not in a good mood. After what Punk did, I think he's still fucking angry. And Bryan Danielson, I think something happened in the back that annoyed him. It's obvious that Hangman Page is mad. He's pissed off. He is. But Bryan Danielson didn't look that much better. He looked annoyed and he looked pissed. And you could see in the very beginnings to the middle of that match where they kind of got a little more physical than they normally do. I don't think they have an issue with each other. I don't. But that match was, at one point, became a little more physical, a little more personal than it normally would, because it's not the first time they face each other. They've done a draw already. They drawed. But there's a difference between drawing the way they wrestled before and here, because it looked more physical. Not just because they're trying to make it more hype and more better. I think they were taking out their frustrations in the ring. You know, you've heard this, and I say this clearly. Sometimes real animosity helps a story, helps a feud. In this situation, I don't think either one of them are angry at each other. I think they're angry so much at the situation, Hangman Page is fucking pissed off at how he was treated. No matter if he's right or not, it's not the point. He feels he's treated bad and he's pissed. And Bryan Danielson looks like he's annoyed. He looks annoyed. I'm just saying that. You got something below. And Bryan Danielson won. So he's moving on. He'll be facing Chris Jericho. Now, what else do we have here? We had the Acclaimed dealing with Swerve Strickland. Now, they're doing a rematch at Grand Slam. What does that tell you? Why would they be getting a rematch unless Tony realized at the last minute, and it was too late to correct it, that, oh shit, the Acclaimed is so over. I gotta get these titles off of Strickland and Lee and put it on their asses because they're too hot. If I don't do this, I'm gonna lose it. When he should have did it at the damn show. He should have told the ref we're changing it and just did it. That's what should have been done. But as you see where it was going, was the segment fine? It was fine. It was all right. Now, Jungle Boy's promo and his vid pack. Was it well done? Yeah. Now, I believe I got an image. It's in my face of how burnt he got on that grating when Luchasaurus slammed him on it. That shit burned his back. That's what he does for his craft. That's what happens with your craft. You give your best, and that was getting burnt. I find it interesting. Right now, Christian has to go away to supposedly get surgery for his elbow or his arm, and Luchasaurus is now going to be the focus of Jungle Boy. Good. But here's the thing. You should not rush it. Let Jungle Boy get his frustrations out on other people first to show that he really means business. If they throw him at Luchasaurus first, it is stupid. Luchasaurus now needs to get built up as well because he's barely had any real build-up other than switching from heel back to face and then heel again. He needs to start building up and taking people out. Jungle Boy needs to be taking people out, and he keeps calling out Luchasaurus, who does not respond. That's what needs to be done. Doesn't mean you gotta be a coward, he just doesn't respond. That's what should happen. Hathaway's team comes out and annihilates a security guard. No MJF with him. Don't know if that's good or not. I can't tell you. But Hathaway, along with the Guns, along with Ethan Page, along with Lee Moriarty. Who else is with him? I can't remember anybody else. There's probably somebody else. I'm not remembering. But, and Hathaway himself. That is good. But the question is, where they're going with it. Are they going to have a name for the faction? Is there going to be a talking segment or interview? That's next. Last thing. The pure title match. And I know I could talk about Braun, what is the guy's name? Braun Action. Or Action Braun, or Braun Action with Hook. I'm not doing that. I'm going to leave it alone because I want to see how far they're going to go with that. But I'm just saying I do remember it. I didn't forget. Pure Championship of Garcia versus Wheeler Yuta. Guys, this was the best match of the night. It was. Was the Pure Championship needing to switch? Yes. Because Garcia is getting over. Because he's still between, who should I listen to? Should I listen to Brian or should I listen to Chris? He's like going back and forth. That's where he is. That's where they need to put the title on. The title can either make that person or the person can make the title. At this point, Wheeler Yuta's done a good job with it, but it really doesn't have any type of high profileness. And now, this is going to give it a high profile position because it's going to be with two well-established, knowing how that match went, it was a damn good match. And knowing that it was Bryan Danielson who put the title around pretty much, how can I say this? He took the title from you. I think the reason I'm botching here is that I'm wondering what's going to happen with Wheeler Yuta because he pushed away Bryan Danielson because he couldn't stand, he lost. And also he hit Garcia while the match was going on. So that shows maybe he's about to turn. Maybe. Don't know. That might do a switch. You might have Wheeler Yuta go to JAS. And you're going to have Garcia going over to the Combat Club. Who knows? But pretty much, Wheeler Yuta shook hands with Garcia. You got Bryan Danielson taking the title from the ref and putting it around Garcia's waist. Which would have made Garcia happy as hell, which it did. And then you got Chris Jericho coming out. And he ain't happy. It's in my face. I believe I got that shot of all three of them. Good. I'll tell you this. This show was like damage control, guys. This show is damage control. It was damage control after reports that came out on Sunday into Monday. That's what happened. This is damage control. Setting up a tournament for Grand Slam because CM Punk no longer has the titles. Letting the Best Friends and Death Triangle have that match to get things done between the Bucks and Kenny Omega. That's it. But it's going to still be one major problem. As much as the show is good, people are going to talk about the stripping. Yep. They're going to talk about the Bucks and Kenny Omega being stripped along with CM Punk. They've been stripped. Now the question is going to be, are they going to be allowed to talk? Kenny and the Bucks may not be allowed to talk. Maybe. CM Punk is probably told, don't say a damn word. The Bucks and Kenny have probably been told not to say a damn word. That's if Tony told them that. If not, we're going to hear from them very soon. We're going to hear them on either Instagram, we're going to hear them on Twitter, we're going to hear them on YouTube. One of those three is probably even right now, I don't even know. One of those three is going to have some type of information for one of them if Kenny didn't, or the Bucks or CM Punk have not been told to keep your damn mouth shut. You are suspended, you are stripped until further notice. Keep your mouth shut if you want to keep your jobs. That's going to be a big question. But it's just me. Have a good day. Have a good night.